For this example, we'll go through and add or subtract the fractions. In this case, we'll be doing a little subtraction. And we also need to identify any x values for which the expression is undefined. You can identify those x values at the beginning of the problem or at the end. Either way, you're going to be using this beginning information and basically writing down whatever would cause you to divide by 0 in all of the fractions. So if you take a look at that, you can see if we plug in a -5, that's going to cause us to divide by 0, and we have the same denominator here. So the x values for which this expression is undefined would be a -5. If it wasn't quite so obvious for this piece, what you can do if you need to go through and solve and can't just look at it and see what the number is, you just take whatever is in the bottom of your denominator and you set that equal to 0 and solve. So if you subtract 5 on both sides, you would see that -5 is the value that is going to cause us to have an undefined expression. When you write down your answer for that part, we can use the not equal to symbol for that. To actually do the addition or subtraction that's here, we do need to go through and since we have a fraction minus a fraction, we need to have a common denominator, and we do. The denominators are identical. So if you don't have a common denominator, you would need to find that first. If you do, then you can do the addition or subtraction that's there. So our common denominator will be in the bottom of our next fraction. And what we have is we have a quantity, 6x minus 4 minus another quantity. So the idea behind it is this. We need to subtract the entire quantity of this numerator. So writing it with parentheses allows us to do that properly. The first set of parentheses from the top of the first fraction, there's nothing in front here to distribute in, so we can just drop those off. But the subtraction that's here in front of this 2x minus 5, we do have to distribute that into both terms. So that would give me a minus 2x and then minus a negative or a plus 5 on that. In the top, we do have some like terms. 6x minus 2x is 4x. And -4 plus 5 is 1. This could be our final answer, but we do want to simplify that as much as we can. Because there's some addition in this, we do need to factor first. Anytime you have addition or subtraction in the top or the bottom of a fraction and you're trying to simplify that, you do need to factor before you go through and do your simplifying. If you try to factor the top of that fraction, the 4x plus 1, that does not factor. If I'm going to cancel it out, though, it has to be with a matching 4x plus 1 on the bottom. I can't just do part of that because of the addition that's there. Similarly, the x plus 5 does not factor either. We don't have anything top and bottom that matches. Again, it would have to be the entire quantity or not at all on each one of those sets of parentheses. So this is our final answer. You could leave your answer like this with the parentheses in it, or you could write your answer and leave the parentheses off. Most textbooks would have the parentheses removed on that, but either one of those would be okay. With that said, there is one step of work that is kind of optional, and that is this step right here. If you did not want to show that step, if you were comfortable going from what I have here in black to what I have here in blue, skipping over this step, that would be totally fine. Your first fraction, we're just copying the numerator down from that, and then the subtraction that's here, you do need to subtract the entire quantity. So it would be a minus 2x. So there's that, and then minus a -5 or a plus 5. So you could skip that step if you'd like. We're supposed to add or subtract. You'll need a common denominator to do that, and then simplify your final answer. You also have to identify any x values for which the expression is undefined. To do that, set each denominator equal to 0, and then solve if you can't just look at it and solve it. In this case, x is not equal to a -5. That's the value for which our expression is undefined.